Hello retro lovers, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with Stuart. What do you say your code name was?
Codename Big Bear.
Big Bear from?
Whole word, from my Xbox 360 days.
Coolio. And what we're going to do is we're going to just, we're doing a hangout basically. We're going to riff and talk about some classic films.
Yeah,
which is what we want to do.
Yeah, so specifically, I'm going to be talking about some unconventional Christmas movies today. So we've just watched Christmas Vacation, and it's one of those classic Christmas films that's out there, kind of people absolutely love and adore. And before we came in, we knew we were going to be watching that, so I kind of had to think, well, what about unconventional Christmas films? I'm going to get the obvious one out of the way because everyone talks about this one, but it's Die Hard. Die Hard is one of the most unconventional ones because it's also one of the most talked about ones. The reason being is because it's so actiony. There's no snow and there's no mention of Father Christmas, and that's a load of rubbish because there is. But Die Hard is an amazing film. It's genuinely a fantastic film.
It's epic.
And as far as I'm concerned, yes, it is 100% a Christmas film. It's got Christmas music in it. Was it Christmas in Hollis is in there? Mm. Yeah, you've got the Christmas tree. Everyone says Merry Christmas.
Yes, but it's not. It depends. It depends on what one means by Christmas film. Do we mean a film that takes place at Christmas, or do we mean a film about Christmas? That's the thing.
So you're on the argument of no,
so
then, I guess.
Is it a Christmas film in the sense that it takes place at Christmas? Yes. Is it a film about Christmas? No.
But for me, I am very much on board of Die Hard as a Christmas film. I think it's unfair to judge a film if it has snow or not being Christmas. And yeah, again, Merry Christmas there. I think he screams Merry Christmas Hands at some point. He's going to see his family for Christmas. That's literally the point he's travelling for. The same argument with Die Hard, and because most of these films are kind of a similar situation, really. You're probably not going to agree with me on all of them. There's one I straight up disagree with, but people are throwing it out there as a Christmas film. But I'll get to it in a second. But the next one is way more Christmassy than Die Hard ever was. But the plot-wise and mention of it is just it's almost non-existent at the same time. So like the theming and areas around it. Again, it's set in LA, so there's no snow. But it's is it LA? Yeah. But it's Lethal Weapon. And Lethal Weapon is just a great film. But the reason I bring it up is because people forget that it has all these Christmas themes on it. I mean, like I said, you never watched it at Christmas. You probably watched it like in the middle of June, not thinking at all, listening to Jingle Bell Rock, going Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell, just doing your thing.
Yeah, but it's just a song.
And not having just like it's a song, it's great, fine. And then a prostitute flies out the window and hits the thing, and it's just like I'll never not associate that song with that scene.
Talking about though, I'll admit I also put my hands up and admit that I can be wrong about my theory too. In that Home Alone, the original, the first one, that's not about Christmas per se either. It does obviously take place at Christmas. However, the message is still there. The Christmas message, because of course Christmas films, they have pretty much the same message about how it's about family and all that stuff. It still has that Christmas message about how you should be with your family for Christmas and the mother travelling home.
I'd say more so in the second one for sure.
So whilst I would not strictly speaking say that Home Alone is a Christmas film in the sense it's not about anything to do with directly to do with Christmas, it's still more of a Christmas film to me personally because the message is still there. I love Lethal Weapon and Die Hard. I think they are masterpieces. Lethal Weapon's on my top 20 favourite films list. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it. Yeah. It's one of my. I think it's in the top 10 actually. It's one of my favourite films. I love it. And Die Hard 2. It's amazing. Die Hard 2 also takes place at Christmas. Does Die Hard 3? It doesn't. No. Not the fourth one either, or the fifth one.
Or the fifth one. We don't talk about the fifth one.
No. The fifth one, it didn't happen.
Awful film. Maybe we spoke about it briefly earlier, but Batman Returns has all the snow. It has Christmassy music, Danny Elfman style Christmas music.
It's got the circus gang in it.
It's got the circus gang.
Huge Christmas tree.
The unbelievably big Christmas tree. There's Christmas throughout. People say Merry Christmas to each other all the time in that film. It's mentioned at least 5 times. Right at the end. Merry Christmas, Alfred. Merry Christmas, Bruce.
Goodwill to all men and women.
All that kind of. It's all there.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
It's definitely
okay. a Christmas comic movie. You know, if you're gonna
exactly,
do it that way,
it's how Christmas would be depicted in the comics.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's very It's caricaturish.
Yeah.
That huge present that comes in when the circus gang leaps out of the triangle circus,
and they have that Christmas ball going on as well. You know,
the mass ball.
There's tons of it, and people again. It's one of those films like you just don't really watch. You don't really watch it at Christmas. You don't think about it. You think, I'm gonna put Batman on.
I've seen that one tons of times. Never at Christmas. You're right.
Yeah.
But I would say it's more Christmassy than Lethal Weapon and Die Hard.
Yes. Oh yeah, sure. But again, I think snow adds a lot to that, though. That's the thing.
But again, it's comic book.
The visually side of things, it's comic book snow. Yeah, exactly. But I'd say that is a Christmas film straight up. It's
Christmas. See, that's another thing where you and I differ. I don't say it's a Christmas film, but I do say it's a Christmas Eve film.
Yeah.
So it is a Christmas Eve film, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, some people don't think A Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas film.
But
it's got Christmas in the title.
But that, of course, is where I would It's called Christmas Town, for God's sake.
It's called Christmas Town. But I mean, I watched it recently, and I watched it in the cinema. And I'd say it's a Christmas film.
It's brilliant.
I'd say it's a Halloween film as well. It's actually more Halloween than it's Christmas, believe it or not.
Well, I think that's a genius of it. Is the fact that it's both. That's the whole point of the film. It's both worlds.
I think the only time you're really allowed to watch that film, the only time is literally Halloween night to Christmas Eve. The whole point of this video we're doing right now was just to kind of talk about unconventional Christmas films. And like I say, people will... Like, I think it was kind of perfect, like, because I have the opinion of, these are Christmas films. You're like, they're Christmassy. Yeah, I can kind of see your point. Yeah, that's fine, but at the same time, you're wrong.
Well, so are you.
Yeah, and again, I fully admit.
At the same time, we're both wrong. That's the whole point.
And that's the whole point. Like, literally, you can watch a film and like at any time in the year, and you can enjoy it. I mean, you could watch The Grinch is very much a Christmas film, but some people will watch it all year round, and that is a Christmas film. Right? It's all about just a grumpy dude who wanted to be Christmas, I suppose. Wanted to hate Christmas.
I'll tell you a film. This is gonna.
Oh, go on.
This is gonna be weird. No. It's a film that I see every year on Christmas Day, because mostly it's on terrestrial television every Christmas anyway. But even if it's not, I put it on. Yeah, so I've got it.
I got one for us.
And it's not It's not anything to do with Christmas. I don't even think there's a Christmas scene in it. It's not Christmassy, and that's Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Fair
it's
enough.
On TCM.
Yeah. So again, that actually brings me to so Gone with the Wind.
Now to me,
it's one of those always released.
I associate that with Christmas. But even though it's got nothing to do with Christmas at all.
Like a lot of people associate Sound of Music with Christmas and The Great Escape.
The Great Escape as well.
Because they're always on at Christmas. Yeah, exactly. So that kind of... I just remembered my other list item. My other list item was, again, if you watch these set of films at Christmas, you'd be forgiven because they're always released at Christmas. They're always on TV at Christmas, and everyone always watches them at Christmas, especially here in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's freaking Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
They are Christmas films, as far as I'm concerned. There's
Wrong
nothing
Trousers
in them.
is always on at Christmas. Maybe not Christmas
bauble.
Day, but the Christmas holiday.
They're always on around that time. Yeah. There is not a single bauble. There's not a mention of Christmas. There is not a single thing to do with Christmas in these shorts.
I would certainly say that that's a Christmas film.
But they are. You watch them at Christmas.
Yeah.
And they are honestly my favourite animations of all time. I think.
Aardman was brilliant.
But yeah, there's loads of films out there.
And again, you mentioned Great Escape. I would certainly say that that's a Christmas film.
Yeah.
I watched that at Christmas time and no other time.
Chicken Run. I always watch that at Christmas.
Kinda.
I only ever watch it at Christmas.
It's never been a favourite of mine anyway.
Yeah, it's The Great Escape, but Aardman.
But that's the point. That's the point. That's the point. I'd rather watch The Great Escape. That's the thing.
I suppose. But for me, I always watch Chicken Run at Christmas, and I consider it myself a Christmas film because I watch it at Christmas, and it's the only time I ever watch it, and I watch it in the Christmas, Yuletide.
So as I said, I think it very much just depends on your definitions in the context.
100%. Yeah.
Tons of films can be Christmas films for whatever reason, I suppose.
Krampus is a Christmas horror film, but people will watch that. Oh, Black Christmas. Watch that. I'm like, this isn't a Christmas film because it's horrendous. There's gore and stuff going on. Again, fully. I'm on board.
And then of course, there's the obvious one, Gremlins.
Gremlins. Yeah, so I watched that 2 days ago.
Not really a horror. It's a horror comedy, but it's not like a horror, like a horror. But I would say that that's a Christmassy film.
Christmas Eve film, yeah. Because you got the Gremlins do carol singing.
I have seen that at Christmas Day, but not every Christmas.
Yeah. They do carol singing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched that all year round. I love that film so much.
The whole opening is the square with snow and everything.
The little drummer boy coming on with "Do You See What I See" with the record playing. The just the idea of all the trees and the snowplow and everything else like that as well. And then, but it's the way it looks kind of makes it more Christmassy than it actually is. The whole, obviously, the idea, the fact he's been given Mogwai Gizmo as a Christmas present as well, you know. But again, that's a Christmassy film.
Even the colours in that film,
it's all green, red.
They seem kind of exaggerated to be a bit festive and maybe not cartoony, but vibrant. There's a vibrancy to it.
I love Gremlins.
It's the only because I've only done my channel for like just over a year, and I've only had one Christmas since I started the thing. So last Christmas I did Santa Claus the movie, but only because I was talking about because it's not. I don't think it's perfect, but I was talking about the sort of guilty pleasure. It seems to be on every Christmas, at least over the holidays.
Yeah.
People still seem to watch it, and yet it still doesn't get the same kind of hype as it used to. And even though that would be considered by me a Christmas film, so I'm just trying to think of other, like the only one I can think of is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
And that doesn't get talked about much nowadays either.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, so you're right. Santa Claus the movie with Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
Is like the ultimate Christmas film, really.
Well, it should be.
Yeah, because it's all about Father Christmas.
But when you think about it, as I said in the video that I did. It's not really, except for the beginning. It's not really about
No, because it's about
Claus.
Dudley Moore taking toys to a toy company.
It's about Dudley Moore and BZ.
Yeah.
It's not really, other than the when he becomes Santa Claus. The first third is about him, but the rest of it isn't really.
Yeah. It's a strange one. It's also just kind of, it just kind of ends. You know what I mean? It just kind of that's it done. I mean, I suppose Elf is a very Christmassy film. It's not. Personally, I don't think it's that great.
I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell.
I like Will Ferrell. I'm not a big fan of Elf. And
I haven't seen Bad Santa either.
Bad Santa is a Christmas film without being a Christmas film again. It's one of those, again, it's got all the hallmarks again, it's set up in the snow, but at the same time, it's still very much some guy kind of robbing a bank, kind of.
You must have seen Jingle All The Way.
Yeah, of course I've seen Jingle All The Way.
And put that cookie down!
Yeah. I mean, it's one. I watched that so much as a kid, and I absolutely adored it. And I watched it last year.
I've never adored it.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
What?
I watched it last year, and I was like, "This isn't very good, is it?" You know what I mean?
No.
It was one of those. It's just kind of like, it's literally just people just remember that one bit, and I remember the thing at the end, obviously with him being Turbo Man.
Jimmy,
you.
I am not your father, even though I look and sound like him.
It's just I loved it as a kid, and I growing up I just didn't, and I just yeah, it's not a great film, and again it's one of those like people remember this film to be much better than it is. I suppose. Again, they didn't even really have that nostalgia for me. Again, watching it last year, it was just kind of.
I love watching it. I'll tell you why I like watching it, because of what's the actor's name who plays the next door neighbour? Oh, these cookies!
Oh, that guy.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You know, the Troy McClure guy.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, it is, isn't it?
But he plays the exact same character in Small Soldiers. Have you
really?
noticed? Not.
I know.
But I mean, personality-wise.
Yeah.
He always plays the Ned Flanders kind of guy, the guy next door with all the top tech stuff that you're jealous of. What's his name?
So good.
We're gonna. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put a caption up when we think about it. Post-production.
Yeah, because he's brilliant. He's just so good and everything. And
these cookies! Oh.
The tragedy of his death is unreal.
Yeah,
man. Like, that was.
I've forgotten he's not with us now, is he?
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
He was. I think
Funny guy.
Shot many times.
Yeah,
which is awful. But yeah,
Shame.
he's so good, and in that film, he's definitely one of the highlights of that film for sure.
Nestled safely under our tree. He's that smarmy guy that everyone hates.
Just an asshole, and I love it.
Every neighborhood has that smarmy person that has everything that you just want and you're jealous of. The Ned Flanders character. But that's a Christmas film because it's about getting a Christmas toy for your son. So it's a Christmas film. But it's also about the message about how it doesn't really matter as long as you got your family. So I think that's up there with Christmas films.
Oh, 100%. And another one. Okay, so this is definitely a Christmas film. But it's a film that I don't understand why people like it because it's ugly. It's Polar Express. I just can't get into that film.
He obviously, Robert Zemeckis being a bit of a, he's not scared to push the boat out a bit. He obviously wanted to just use it to its full potential at the time. So he made Beowulf and then he did the Polar Express. Then he did Christmas Carol, Christmas Carol, which was more or less the same kind of thing where he used Jim Carrey for different roles.
Yeah, multiple roles.
He was the ghosts and everything. Mind you, Christmas Carol certainly has some bloody good bits in it. The Ghost of Christmas Future was bloody amazing in that. The Shadow. Yeah. That was a brilliant way of doing the Christmas Future ghost. I
like the way Ebenezer looked as well. Like
Christmas Present was pretty good too. I like the idea of using the room as a way of getting of him, because he looked through the floor. That was pretty. So yeah, so Christmas Carol was pretty good. I didn't think much of Polar Express.
When he did Polar Express, I think maybe he went a little bit. It was a little bit too ambitious for everything that was going with it, and just like I said, I think what it is, there was children in it, and the children don't look right. They their heads look too big for their bodies. The ears are out too much. There's something off with those kids, and it just it doesn't gel for me at all. And
what year was it?
It must have been 2003.
Yeah, it was just when it was starting to become popular. It was before the games started going that direction as well. Wasn't it?
It was definitely PS2 era. I think.
It was before Beyond Two Souls and all that, and Heavy Rain and all that stuff.
And if they did it now, it would probably look absolutely fine.
Oh yeah, it would look better now.
Monster House was fine, but it was stylized.
Oh yeah, Monster House, that one too. That was Zemeckis too, wasn't it?
Cool. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was Zemeckis or Ron Howard. But when you said with Christmas Carol, that follows the book quite well, really quite well.
Actually, yes.
I recently watched the Guy Pearce one. That deviates from the book slightly, but it's gone on a whole different route. It's scary. That one's scary, but I also think the Zemeckis one is quite scary. Because, like I said, with the Ghost of Christmas Past, the shadow thing doing his thing, when he reveals the children under his robe, and this is with the withered hands, they're creepy as all hell as well. The way that Jacob Marley was really good as well.
Having the two kids, what are they called? Truth and something? It's something like that.
Goodwill or something.
But that's from the book. But the way, and also from the book, is when the Ghost of Christmas Present, he rots away. And that was, when he laughs, that's quite frightening too, isn't it? When you see him laughing as a skeleton, he ages to dust. That's what happens in the book. It's quite true to the. I quite like that. I still think that the best adaptation is Muppet Christmas Carol.
100%.
It's amazing.
Big agree on that one.
It's even so now, good. And that was 94, right, or something like that. And I still think it's not. I'm not saying it's 100% true to the story. It's not. It does.
It gets the ideas across,
because it's the Muppets. Of course, it doesn't stick to the source material. But the way that it's performed and the way that the story is told.
Well, Gonzo as Charles Dickens is just brilliant. It's just the perfect casting for it because he's there telling this little story, and there's Rizzo just eating him. Everything's like, what are you talking about? This is really grim for a child. That's how the story goes. It's really scary.
And how awesome is it that Fozzie is perfect for Fozziwig because there's a character called Fuzziwig. That's beautiful. That couldn't be more perfect. That is absolutely brilliant because, of course, Dickens had this trademark kind of thing of naming his characters silly names like Fuzziwig and Oliver Twist and all the, Fagin. So having the Muppet names is also quite convenient. But the way that the effects are good, even now for the time, especially Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
do you know how that's done? Do you know how they did that?
No, it's just a dude in a suit, right? With
No.
the hand. No, Christmas Past, sorry. Christmas
Past,
Past.
the girl floating in the
No,
air.
I don't know how they did it. No, sorry.
It was, this is what I heard. Correct me if I'm slightly wrong about this, but I heard that it's the puppet that's completely submerged in oil.
Oh.
That's what I heard. I don't know. Hang on. I don't. It's been a while since I heard about this. So correct me if I'm wrong here, by all means. But or something like that, submerged in a tank of water or something.
That would make sense. Yeah.
That's what I can't remember how I heard this. Really, it's just a memory that I have of a puppet being controlled, submerged in water, and oil had something to do with it. Anyway, which brings us to one that we haven't talked about yet, but you briefly brought up before we saw the film.
Did I know?
Scrooged.
Scrooged, yeah, Scrooged. What an adaptation that is. And that one I love so much because it acknowledges A Christmas Carol as a thing. And it acknowledges, like, wait, hang on. Because it's not even Ebenezer Scrooge. He's just this horrible Bill Murray. And Bill Murray, who directed that one? What was that?
Richard Donner.
It was Richard Donner, was
Yeah.
it? Which one am I? I'm thinking of Groundhog Day. That was Harold Ramis, wasn't it? But I love that film so much. And, like, I love the ghosts. I think they're all epic. Every single one of them. Come on. What? What's that face?
I don't like it.
What? No!
I have seen it several times and tried to get into it, and every single time I think to myself, why don't I like this too much? Because it's got everything that I like. It's got Bill Murray. It's Richard Donner directed film, and I think he is beg your pardon, because we've lost him now, sadly, recently. But he was an amazing director. And it's got A Christmas Carol, which I agree is a great story. I love the story. I love the book, and and it's got Karen Allen in it, and I like her as well. She's fine. And you're right, the ghosts are good. I like the ghosts, particularly the boss that comes in.
The Jacob Marley
holds him
character.
outside the glass. That's pretty good. But I just think it's very slow.
Yeah.
And the pacing of it, I just can't get into it. For example, the bits in between the ghosts, they last too long. In between he goes to see her at the homeless shelter. He does this. He does. Oh, I do like Bobcat Goldthwait. He's hilarious. I love that guy. He's in Police Academy.
Police Academy, yeah.
He's hilarious in that.
I love go to Police Academy for 1 second when he comes out of the water after saving somebody. He goes, Mickey! And his watch is dead. I lose it every time.
Bobcat Goldthwait's hilarious, and he's the voice of one of the. Is he Pain or Panic in Hercules? He's one of them anyway.
He's one of them. Yeah.
But Bobcat Goldthwait, I love him. But I just think that the pace of it is just slow. I can't. Every time I watch it, I do like bits of it. I do, but I just sort of find myself wanting to fast forward.
Fair enough.
To when he goes to the end.
When he gets to the Scrooge bits.
Mind you, the Ghost. The only bit I do really like, where I can sit and watch properly, is the Ghost of Christmas Future. That's a good one, and the way that's done, and the visuals of that, and the sets of that as well. I love the bit where he steps out of the elevator and he walks down that slope. He's like holding on as he walks. Yeah. Bits like that I quite like. So I do. When I said I said I didn't like it. I like
chunks of it.
50% of it I quite like.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't like it as much as it's liked in general by others.
I suppose, again, and for me it's probably a nostalgia thing. I've watched that since I was a kid.
I haven't.
I was a huge Ghostbusters fan growing up, and anything Bill Murray was in, I'd watch it. So if there's any Christmas films out there that you think are Christmas films that aren't necessarily Christmassy, or films that you watch at Christmas on a regular, like for instance, we watch Wallace and Gromit, and I watch Chicken Run, but Great Escape, that kind of thing. Things you watch at Christmas that we missed. Because, like I say, you saw it right there. We were off the top of our head kind of thinking about those things as well. What's your favourite Christmas Carol movie? Is it Scrooged? Is it the Robert Zemeckis film? Is it the Alistair Sim? Or is it even just something we've not mentioned
One we haven't even heard of.
Because let's face it, Christmas Carol has about 1,000 different adaptations.
Did Ralph Bakshi make a Christmas Carol adaptation?
I don't know that name, so I have no idea. You said a name? I don't know.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
tell me
Let him know, guys. Let him know who that is.
So guys.
Alright, guys, we're going to wrap this up now. We've been talking for nearly an hour, and it's been great, don't get me wrong, but we're going to have to cut it down in the future. But that's okay. If you have any suggestions or anything we've left out, give us a comment, and we'll see if we can fit it in either this year if we've got time, or there's always next year, as they say.
Yep.
We'll see. But like, share, subscribe, and check out all the links that I'm going to leave down below. And join us next time. And from me and from Stuart, remind him of your channel, Stuart.
Respawning UK on YouTube. You find us using that green blob. That's what you're looking for.
Check it out. It's awesome stuff.
very
Until
much.
next vid, guys. Happy Christmas and take care. Bye.
Merry Christmas.